Ranking the best DLC maps in Call of Duty Zombies. These are just my own personal opinions. If you disagree, feel free to let me know your favourites down below. Let's get into it. Sure, it's cliche, however, my favourite map in World at War, obviously from the DLC, was Der Riese. The map introduced the Pack-a-Punch machine, which revolutionised the way we all play zombies, as not only can you use pretty much any weapon and get to about round 20 plus in this game, however, it also elevated the top tier weapons, making them even more likeable and iconic. I also really like the map design. It's the first open map layout, very beginner friendly, and really just a solid map in every way, so much so that they would essentially make a watered down version of Der Riese for the launch map of Black Ops 1. The other DLC maps weren't lacking by any means. Like, I really enjoyed Verrückt, and obviously Shinonuma introduced, the Wunderwaffe and the iconic Ultimus crew. But come on, it's Der Riese all the way, we all know this. My choice for Black Ops 1 was pretty obvious. Obviously it was Call of the Dead, but not for the reasons you guys might think. When I think of the Black Ops 1 DLC maps, Ascension, Shangri-La, Moon, I think of their Chronicles versions, as in my opinion at least, they were improvements over the originals in every regard. Minus, PhD obviously, but since I don't really like PhD, it doesn't really matter to me. Call of the Dead, however, was the only DLC map that wasn't remade in Black Ops 3, which is why I think it stands out more in Black Ops 1. Not to mention, this map is actually phenomenal. It's a very open map, kind of like Origins in a sense, where there's just snow everywhere, it's open. You have quite a few unique wonder weapons specifically to Call of the Dead. You have the Scavenger, the VR-11, unique features such as George. I really do enjoy this map a lot, and to be fair, playing it in Black Ops 3, again, having the privilege to play, the Call of the Dead custom map, it really just made me remember why I love this map so much. My Black Ops 2 choice is a no-brainer. Obviously, it's Origins. No, it's not Mob of the Dead. As fantastic as Mob of the Dead was, it definitely has aged very poorly, and it is not the best map of all time. Origins, on the other hand, you could make a strong argument for it being the best map of all time. It introduced the Primus crew, which became instantly likable and iconic due to their amazing introductions with Shepherd of Fire in the background. You have the 4 elemental wonder weapons, the staffs, which instantly became iconic, fun to use. You have the map layout, which sure, it's not the best, especially with the mud. However, it's not all that complicated and it's still fun to traverse the map. You have the Panzer, a very fun, iconic, challenging boss fight, and obviously you have one of the best Easter eggs that Treyarch has ever made. The only thing that would make Origins near perfect, in my opinion, is a Easter egg boss fight. However, let's be honest, the hardware probably couldn't handle that shit, so I really do like Origins. It's one of my favorite maps, and easily the best in Black Ops 2. For Black Ops 3, if you talked to me a few months ago, my choice would have been Revelations. However, if you talk to me today, obviously it's Der Eisendrache. I replayed this map recently, retaught myself how to make the 4 bows and stuff like that, and yes, I really fell in love with this map all over again. Yes, I will always love Rev, however, Der Eisen is just a refined version of Origins, kind of like Moon. Origins and Der Riese had like a child together, and Der Eisendrache was the result. The 4 bows, whilst I don't like them as much as the staffs, they are still very iconic and fun to use in their own regard. You have the Death Ray, which is one of my favorite traps of all time. You have incredible story, especially regarding Dempsey developing his character. The Easter egg was once again fantastic, and the Keeper boss fight is my personal choice for the best boss fight in Black Ops 3. Der Eisendrache, whilst not entirely original, it just took previous ideas, made them better, and made one kick-ass DLC one map. Technically, this is still Black Ops 3, however, in my opinion, Zombies Chronicles is separate to Black Ops 3 because it released after its life cycle, and my favourite map from this game would be Moon. I think that Moon was the biggest glow-up. Like, yes, pretty much every map had a massive glow-up in Chronicles. Origins, Verrückt, Shangri-La, Ascension, you name it, it happened. But Moon, I think, was the biggest glow-up because it was too aspirational for its time. Moon just didn't shine on Black Ops 1, it looked like shit, we all know this. Whereas Black Ops 3 Moon, it really did look all the more impressive, and as far as Black Ops 3 standards go, Moon was kind of on the simpler side, where you have maps like Zetsebo, Der Eisen, Shadows in the same game. Moon is actually kind of on the simpler side, whereas in Black Ops 1 it was more on the complicated side. But yeah, Just a shorter segment, but Moon would be my favourite from Chronicles. The best map in Black Ops 4 Zombies, whilst I could have easily said 9, I think for me is Ancient Evil. 9 is the map that I've played the most, and I have a lot of fond memories with it, but Ancient Evil I think is the objectively best map in Black Ops 4, especially for DLC. You gotta keep in mind as well that the DLC maps really weren't all that good in Black Ops 4. You know, you have Tag, Dead of the Night, especially Alpha Omega, which were just really bad, so Ancient Evil was kind of the default choice, and I'd be surprised if anyone disagrees with this one. They finally made the Chaos crew not that annoying, especially Scarlet, where in Voyage and 9, she was just the biggest fucking pain in the arse. You have the Gauntlets, which were way better than the Krakens, in my opinion, not only in terms of iconic, but also in practicality. They were just very fun to use, especially the Gaia and the Blood Gauntlets. The map layout is also not a pain in the arse to navigate when you have Voyage and Blood of the Dead in the same game. Ancient Evil is kind of on the complicated side, I guess, but it's nowhere near as much of a headache as those two. You have a pretty fun Easter egg with, you know, the amphitheater step being one of my favorites, and you have a badass boss fight against Pegasus and Hercules. A really fun mythological map, and I wish it would return in Black Ops 3. Again, for Cold War, Untoten, it was pretty much an obvious choice. I don't hate Firebase Z and Forsaken as much as other people, but Mauer just completely stomps on those maps without much issue. You have the fantastic city aesthetic, which kind of reminds me of like Shadows and Transit, but with its own unique flair, where you can go in like, there's 4 different skyscrapers, you have the streets, and you have the underground area. I think it's amazing that we were even able to get those things. You know, it's a pretty big map layout when you think about it for the amount of content that's stuffed in. You have the Cerberus, which is my personal favorite wonder weapon in Cold War. They were all fun to use. Sure, the starting version is the best one with like the ball that spins around, but they were still very fun to use. The Easter egg was incredible, especially with, you know, Klaus, aka Tobey Maguire, stopping the train. That was one of my favorite scenes ever. And obviously you have the Valentina boss fight, which isn't quite the best boss fight in Cold War, but it's still a massive step up over the order that we got from Firebase Z. A really fun, solid map overall, and the map that I would personally revisit to in Cold War, assuming that I don't get hacked or, you know, DDoSed or whatever, if I was to decide to play that game. Now, yes, I didn't rank the non-Treyarchs, and there's a good reason for that. I don't think any of them have very good DLC maps. I think they were pretty much all in the same tier. They were either mid or shit, and obviously I didn't rank Vanguard because